Good day, everyone. So today we will start our day with another topic, which is all about the types of speeches. So when we are talking about speech, so it is any type of formal or informal discourse intended to be delivered or orated to audience or audiences. And for this, we have two types of speeches. The first one is the speech according to purpose, and the second one is the speech according to manner of delivery. But we will discuss first the speech according to purpose. So here, for the speech according to purpose, we have the first one, which is what we call expository or informative. So it intends to educate the audience through providing information about a particular topic or a particular subject. So it is meant to inform and enlighten an audience about a topic that they do not know. So most especially, the purpose of this speech is to impart or educate audience or receiver of the message on a new relevant topic or about the subject matter. So the audience can understand it. So technically speaking, you are educating your audience about a certain process, objects, events, or a certain concept. So if you are informing the audience about a certain event in the history or current event, so you are typically informing them what happened or the reason why it occurs and other information about it. So let's say, for example, you are talking about a certain process. Let's say it's about the communication process. So you are educating students how it occurs and what will happen in this kind of process. So another example for expository or informative is if you are new to a certain job or to a certain company, or if you will be doing a task for the first time, then the other person will be informing you on how to do something that may be related to your task or to your job. Another one, this is what we call as persuasive. So this is the second example of speech according to purpose. So for persuasive, the speaker's goal is to convince or encourage audiences to accept a certain perspective. So it is solely for the purpose of convincing the audience to agree with the speaker's opinion on a particular topic or on a particular subject matter. So it is also trying to push people to do an action or to try something new. So for example, if you will be buying clothes, the sales agent or the sales lady will try to persuade you or convince you to buy it and tell you that it will fit it to you. And another example are the politicians. So in persuasive as one of the speech according to purpose, so they are trying to convince their audience to their platforms. So that if the audience will vote for them and if they will win in the election, then they are going to implement those platforms. So the speaker here should be convincing enough to persuade his or her audience during the speech. Another one, this is what we call as the entertainment. This is also another speech according to purpose. So for entertainment, the primary purpose of it is to captivate attentions and entertain audiences. So it also aims to share laughter or enjoyment, relaxation to the audience, making the place alive. So for example, the comedians use humorous lines to entertain other people. Okay, so they may also use these kinds of speech according to purpose. Earlier, we've tackled about the informative or expository, the persuasive and entertainment as part of the speech according to purpose. Now, we will be talking another type of speech, which is what we call as the speech according to manner of delivery. So when we are talking about the speech according to manner of delivery, so this is where on how you're going to deliver a certain speech to your audience. So for the first one, it's either reading or speaking from a manuscript. So it implies reading a pre-written speech, a paper script, or teleprompter. So here, this is when a speaker reads a pre-written speech or a written message word by word to a specific audience or on your side as the receiver of the message using paper script or the teleprompter. When we are talking about the teleprompter, it's a device used to display the script, okay, of a speaker that needs to be read by a certain anchor or a news anchor. Aside from that, another one is what we call the memorized speech. So here, the speech that is committed and delivered entirely from a memory. So if we are going to talk about the memorized speech or speech according to manner of delivery, so you are going to deliver the speech from your memory or rote recitation. So one of the advantages of this is that it enables the speaker to maintain the eye contact with the audience throughout his or her speech. So let's say, for example, the actors or actresses in the stage play, they are throwing dialogues with their co-actors. So in order for them to have a successful dialogues, they need to memorize it. So if you've already attended some stage plays, okay, so these are the usual things that they do. Aside from that, which what we called another one is the extemporaneous speech. So when we are talking about extemporaneous speech, it refers to a speech that is given without any special advanced preparation and is delivered without the help of notes and others. So 3 minutes is the maximum time of just the preparation of this one. So here, the speaker just uses some notes or just a small note to guide him about the topic, okay? About the topic being discussed and or the topic he is going to deliver. So unlike in manuscript earlier, that you are just delivering the message word by word, here, the speaker can establish and maintain eye contact with the audience. So the advantages of this one is that the audience is of course likely to pay better attention to the message itself, okay, done by the speaker because it is engaging both verbally and non-verbally since he has some cue or a small notes, okay, but his eye contact and also gestures, okay, is not that awkward. Now, for the last type of speech according to manner of delivery, this is what we call the impromptu speech. So this is the speech that is delivered on the spot with no chance to prepare or memorize. So in impromptu speech, it refers to a presentation of a speech without advanced preparation, or on the other words, it's on the spot. So one of the advantages of this is that it's spontaneous and responsive. But one of the disadvantages of this is that the speaker is just given a little time to contemplate the central idea of his or her message. And of course, the speaker should have a wide knowledge about the topic being discussed. It's because it will be hard for them or difficult for them to give a talk or to talk about a certain topic if they don't have an accurate background about the topic that they will be discussing later on their speech. So those are the speech according to manner of delivery. We have the manuscript, we have memorized speech, we have extemporaneous speech, or sometimes we call it as extempo speech, and the impromptu speech. So since we are done with the two types of speeches, Now, let's go and move on to another topic, which is what we call the speech styles. So when we are talking about speech styles, according to Martin, speech style here means the form of language that the speaker uses, which characterized by the degree of formality. So this time we are just talking about the formality whenever we are talking to other people or whenever we are communicating with others. And we have 5 classes or 5 speech styles according to the degree of formality. We have what we call the frozen style, the formal style, consultative style, casual style, and intimate style. Now, let's go and move on to the first speech style, which is what we call as the intimate. So when we are talking about an intimate, so this style is private. Usually, it happens between or among close family members or individuals. And the language that you may use in this style may not be shared in public. So this is a speaking style mostly for couples, for family members, or for families and best friends that have an extremely close relationship. So it's also used for self-addressed queries, self-talk, and other such things because they have the most shared background information because, again, they are close with each other. So intimate speech is employed in communication between persons who are quite close or really close to each other and know each other pretty well. So in the intimate style, as one of the speech styles, the usage of words here is kept to a minimum in this speech style. So even a single nonverbal gesture or behavior, such as a rising tone of voice, okay, is enough for the communicators to comprehend each other. It's because they've shared some common backgrounds. Okay? And one of the examples of this, couple talking about their future plans, family sharing, or sharing of ideas within the families, or very close friends trying to share their secrets, okay, or challenges in their lives. Another one, this is what we called as the casual. So here, this style is common among peers and friends. Jargon, slang, or vernacular language are used here. So when we are talking about casual as one of the speech styles, so this is an informal communication between a certain group and your peers. Casual style is just used for conversation between friends and insiders who have something to share and have shared background information. But again, they don't have strong ties. Okay, adapt in order for them to adapt the casual manner of discussion. So casual speech is distinguished by slang meanings or idioms that are easily understood by communicators. So without providing any excessive information. So let's say, for example, your best friend is just teasing you and then the listener will respond sarcastically. So the speaker is mostly likely referring to the other person's, okay, friend, okay, or the one that they are talking to during conversation. So one of the example of casual speech style is the phone calls, everyday conversation with friends, chats, okay, and inside jokes of friends and etc. And another one, another speech style, which is on the third one, this is what we called as consultative speech style. So this style is the standard one. Professional or mutually accepted language is amassed in this speech style. So when we are talking about consultative, this is used in semi-formal communication. So earlier in a casual setting, so that's more on informal. This one, it's semi-formal communication. So here in a consultative, sentences become shorter and more spontaneous. It's because the speaker does not usually plan what he or she wants to say. Okay, so it's more spontaneous. So unlike the formal and the frozen forms of speaking, the consultative style of communication requires cooperation from your part or from the receiver's part, but thus not always necessary. And this means that by allowing listeners to provide comments, they become more involved in the meaning-making process. So let's say, for example, if the speaker's information is insufficient or unclear, so the listener or the receiver may ask some clarifications, some elaborations. So from that, the receiver or the listener, okay, could also participate in the discussion. And the consultative style is the standard or mostly used style in everyday conversations. So for this one, in a consultative style or consultative speech style, this is commonly used in a regular classroom discussions. It could be in a face-to-face discussion or a virtual discussion or a discussion between the doctor and the patient itself. Next, for the fourth one, we have what we call as the formal speech style. So this style is used in formal settings. Unlike the consultative style, this is one way. So when we are talking about one way, so the speaker is the most important here, and then just the listener is just serve to listen during the discussion or during the speech. So formal style is designed to inform, and the background information is woven into text in complex sentences. So for the formal speech style, speeches are most of the time given in a formal setting and are straightforward. So the speaker just try to avoid utilizing or using slang terms or slang words in this speech style. Instead, the speaker says something that has been prepared in advance. It's because this is a formal setting, so that it's well structured, it's logically sequenced, and strongly coherent sentences during the speech. So the formal speech method of communication is one way here. Just like what I've told to you earlier, in which the speaker simply relies information to their receiver or to their listener. So the formal style of speech frequently discourages audience participation, unlike in consultative earlier, okay? Or interaction between the communicators. So formal, instructive speech is frequently used in public speaking. And this type of speech style is also used in situations where the speaker is unsure of receiving a favorable response. So one of the examples of this are the announcement, the State of the Nation address of a president of a certain country, or welcome addresses, and many more. And for the last one, for the last speech style, this is what we call frozen. So this style is frozen in time and remains unchanged. So it mostly occurs in ceremonies. It is a style of communication that almost never changes. So it has a fixed and static language and uses long sentences with a good command of grammar. So in frozen speech style, in most cases, it's used in a fairly formal setting and for a respectful situation. So the most formal communicative style is used in the frozen speech style. And there is no requirement for audience response here, just like in a formal speech style. And there will be long sentences with strong grammar and vocabulary are usually used. So language here is fixed and largely unchanging in its application. So one of the example of it is the national pledge, national anthem, school creeds, okay, ceremonies or marriage ceremonies, or a speech for a state ceremony. So again, the five speech styles that we've talked about for today are the first one, which what we call the intimate. speech style. The second one is the casual speech style. And also we've talked about the consultative speech style, and of course, what we call the formal speech style. And for the last one is the frozen speech style. So today we've tackled about the different types of speeches, the two types of it, according to purpose and according to delivery. And we've also tackled about the 5 speech styles. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening.